Hey grade 6, I hear you guys have been doing brilliantly at learning at home, but I'm going to give you a few tips to help you get organised, just in case you feel that things are building up and you're not getting through the stuff. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to organise your day. We're going to look at your schedule, then we're going to look at your calendar, and we're going to learn how to put all that information together and see what we do with the stuff that's left over at the end of the day. I've prepared a document that's going to help you plan your day. We're not following the school schedule, and the advantage of that is that you can be flexible and work around your family and your family's resources and what you need. You don't have to stick to the school schedule. That has disadvantages. If you're not going to stick to the school schedule, you're going to have to come up with your own. Now, how do we do this? The first thing you need to do is to break up your day into chunks. Now, you need to decide when your break is going to be and where your lunch is going to be. This is an example. As you can see here, I've taken the 9:30 to 4:30 school day and I've broken up into different size sections. Now, I'm going to assume that the break could be at 11:15. So I'm going to write break here, and I'm going to speak to my family, and they've told me that we're going to have lunch at 1:30. So I will add that on here, lunch, and now that gives me a bit of flexibility. The way that the conferences have been organised is that you shouldn't have any conferences at all between 1:30 and 3. I'm assuming that will fit with pretty much everyone's lunchtime, but if not, please let me know via email. So now you look at your daily routine, and if you feel that this fits in with what everyone in your house is doing, you can go on to the next step, which is to look at your schedule. Here we have a 6-2 schedule. Now today is Wednesday, and so let me have a look at the subjects that I have on Wednesdays, assuming that I was a 6-2 student. Now, Wednesdays, I have social studies, Spanish, PE, language arts, science, and math. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subjects. I need to write down that list of subjects. Here you can see that I've written that list of subjects underneath the schedule. Not behind it, but underneath it. I'm going to use this in a moment, but first I'm going to look at the calendar to see what conferences I've got with teachers today, because that's something I'm going to have to put down on my schedule first. Now, in order to do this, I must select calendar from Google. So I'll show you where that is. If you go to your Google selection, your apps section here, and you click on it, there should be, let me just bring it up here, a calendar icon that you click there. Now, it will immediately show any event that you have for your class that you've been invited to. But of course, you need to accept the conferences, right, for them to show up in your calendar. So if you get an invitation in your email for a calendar event, you must click on it and accept. That will mean that it will show up on your calendar, and it will make it much easier to plan. So here we have your Wednesday, and you can see that you have at 10:30 a French meeting, and then at 12 you've got another one with Mr. Ojolade if you're in group 6-3. I know some of you in 6-2 are in that group. What else have we got? Well, as you can see, I've blocked off lunch for you, and then you've got 6-2. You've got Maths Helpline. Now that is voluntary. That's only if you have questions, but it might be worth considering that if you're going to do some maths work, it will be good to do it in that time so you can ask some questions. So let's now put all of this information in the schedule that I've made. Okay, so what I've done here is I've put the conferences in, and in fact, just to organize myself, I'm going to highlight them in a different color so that they'll stand out as conferences and not something else. So here we go, Maths Helpline. Even though that's optional, you might want to put that in a different color. And then we have PE, that conference there. So there we go. Now you can do this in pens and colourful pens. It doesn't have to be super neat or anything. It can be, as long as you can read it and understand it, that's great. So now we're going to have a look at all your other subjects and see how everything's going to fit in with that. So what else have we got? We've got social studies. So social studies would go, let's try there. What have I got? I've got a whole hour there. So I'm probably going to have some time for some social studies. Social studies and maybe a little bit of Spanish. And then I've got my French conference, which might not go over time, but we'll see if it's a full 45 minutes. If not, maybe you can make up the spare time that's left to finish off your Spanish there. You've got PE, but PE's got a conference, so they're not going to give you extra work to do apart from the 15 minutes that they're asking you to do daily, but I think that would probably fit in that time. And then what have we got? We've got from 11:30 to 12:30, because of course this conference starts at 12. So you might want to do your language arts work. Okay, so that leaves 12:30 to 1:30 to finish language arts. Should be enough time. And then what have I got left? Well, I've looked at all of these: Spanish, PE, language arts. That's great. Science and maths. Well, let me think. If I do maths here, if I have any problems, then I can do the maths helpline. I can speak to Mr. Stapleton. And that leaves me with an hour at the end of the day to work out science. Looks easy, doesn't it? I'm sure in practice it won't be that straightforward, but this gives you an idea of how to break up and structure your day. Now, if you don't finish something, make a note of that. So at the end of the day, at 4:30, you decide, well, actually, I didn't have time to do language arts, right? And the first thing I want to ask you is, did you spend 40 minutes on it? Now, if the answer to that question is yes, then you need to let your teacher know. Send an email and explain, it's taken me too long to do this piece of work. I might need some help, or I might need an extension. Your teacher needs to know if the work that they're setting is too long. Okay, and that's it for my advice. I don't want to take too long today. Let me know, give me some feedback if you found this video useful. I need to know as well, because if it is useful, then I can give you some more guidance, perhaps on a weekly or a daily basis. That was my cat, who's sitting next to me, who likes to agree with the things that I say. So, grade 6, get organised, be prepared. You can definitely do this. And if you can't, do not be afraid to ask for help.